I paid $8,500 for Christmas gifts for my son and my sister's kids. Then my sister told my kids, Santa only brings real gifts to golden kids, and opened the most expensive presents in front of them with her children. My parents laughed and called my kids too sensitive. They refused to apologize. I went out to my car, grabbed a folder with bank statements, and what I did next made my family go pale. My name's Barry. I'm 39, a fire captain, husband to Mia, dad to 2 kids, Liam, 9, and Emma, 7. I'm the guy who checks smoke alarms at family parties because I can't turn it off. I carry a trauma kit in the trunk. I sleep light. Sirens live in my bones. And I'm the brother who always has it covered. That's how they say it. Like I'm a walking wallet with a pulse. We were at my parents' house the week before Christmas. Living room crowded with garland and plastic reindeer. I brought 8 large bags wrapped, labeled color-coded, because I'm organized like that. Total damage, $8,500. Some of it was deals, a lot of it wasn't. It was fine. I'd budgeted since July. I bent to set a bag by the tree and heard my sister's voice cut through the room, sharp as a bell. Set those by mine, Barry. Santa gifts go in one pile. Parent gifts go in the other. I looked up. They're from us, Jess. We do for Mom and Dad. Remember? She smiled like a teacher correcting a slow student. No, your kids can get for Mom and Dad. My kids still believe. Santa brings the real gifts to the golden kids. Silence. Then she looked at my kids and said it again, louder like an announcement. Santa only brings real gifts to golden kids. Emma blinked. Liam did that brave jaw thing he does when he's not okay. I felt the heat rise in my cheeks. Different from fire heat. This was the kind that makes your fingers twitch. Mom laughed before anyone else did. Oh, Jessica, she said, patting Jess's arm. Eyes on my kids. Don't be so sensitive, you two. Auntie's joking. Jess wasn't joking. She lifted the biggest box. I'd bought one of the overpriced gaming laptops. Flashed the label toward the room for my Noah, because he made the select team. Golden kid privilege. She winked. Dad chuckled from his chair, like that made it clever. Mia touched my sleeve. Very, she whispered. Breathe. I breathed. I looked around the room. The kids' eyes, my sister's grin, my parents' pleased little smiles. Everyone pretending it was a joke made for us. It wasn't. I straightened up and said nothing, because the first rule in a burning room is you don't run. You look for exits. And then Jess peeled the paper off the laptop I paid for and set it on her golden child's lap, right in front of my kids like she just won a raffle I funded. People assume firefighters are hotheads. Truth is the job trains the impulse out of you. We walk in when people are screaming and we don't scream back. We follow checklists. We keep time. We do the next right thing. Family makes it harder. Growing up, Jess was the storm and I was the guy who moved the furniture. She got the violin, the new cleats, the shiny spring brakes. I got the speech about being steady. It wasn't mean. It was just constant. The story wrote itself. Jess, talent, sparkle, our prodigy. Me, reliable, helpful, our rock, budget line item, Barry. When Dad got laid off the first time, I was 21 and already doing overnights at Station 14. I picked up shifts, slid cash to Mom for groceries, covered a utility bill here and there. Nobody asked. Nobody had to. You're good with money. Mom would say, which meant I would pay. Jess had important auditions. I had overtime. It didn't bother me at first. I like solving things. I like fixing, but it added up. I co-signed Jess's first car for the rate. I paid half her grad school deposit, so she wouldn't lose her spot. I took their old roof from leaking to done and did the insurance call myself. Every Christmas, Barry will handle big stuff. He knows deals. It turned into a script. The worst line was always the same. Barry can take it. When Mia and I had Liam and then Emma, I thought the script would retire. I thought being a father would change the calculus. Instead, the requests got dressed up as tradition. Mom, we always do big Christmas. It's who we are. Dad, you make good money, son. Captain, now don't be stingy. Jess, the kids are only little ones. You don't want them to miss out, do you? If I pushed back, I got the tone. Wow, money got to his head. Jess would say in the cousin chat, or Mom would text Mia, "Everything okay with Barry? He seems tense." Tense is what they call you when you finally say no. Last year, I tried to set boundaries. We're scaling down. I told the family in November. Budget's tighter. Kids will get 3 gifts each. Experiences, not stuff. Jess responded in the group thread with a gift of someone laughing until they cry. Mom dropped a thumbs up to her message, and a heart to mine like she was collecting both sides as decor. This year, I didn't plan to go big. Then I got the shift schedule. I'd be on duty the 24th and 26th, Christmas Day off. One day, the kids circled it on the calendar. Emma drew a pink heart around the 25. Liam wrote, "Dad home," in block letters next to it. I caved. I spent months grabbing things when I could. A robotics kit Liam wanted. The art desk Emma kept visiting at the store. A bike with a color that made her squeal. For the cousins, a laptop, split screen for school and gaming, a smartwatch, a keyboard, a set of prograde markers for the niece who draws. Equal gifts across kids. That's the rule Mia and I made, because we remember what unequal feels like. Total $8,500. I could afford it. I planned for it. It wasn't reckless. It was me trying to buy an easy day, but the dynamic didn't respect math. The dynamic was a machine. The week before Christmas, Jess started warming up the audience. In the family chat, Jess, "Who's ready for Santa?" "Mom, our golden babies deserve the best." "Dad, Barry, you got the receipts?" "You're good at that." I wrote, "Yep, that was it." I wasn't going to argue in front of the kids. I wasn't going to turn December into a courtroom. Then we walked into my parents' house, and Jess started dividing piles like a customs officer. She said the line about golden kids, and something in me clicked. Not anger, not yet, just clarity. Because here's the part one haven't said. The money wasn't just mine. Half of it was earmarked from the overtime fund Mia, and I set to help my parents during Dad's second layoff. We've been paying their mortgage top-up quietly for 8 months. We covered Mom's dental implants. We refinanced a small loan under my credit because Dad's score wouldn't qualify. Just know some of that. She pretends she doesn't. So when she took the laptop I bought, called her kid golden, and told my children that Santa didn't bring real gifts to them, it wasn't just mean, it was theft with glitter on it. I watched him shrink. I watched Liam press his tongue against his mare to keep from crying, because he's me. I watched my sister open a second box smartwatch and strap it to her son's wrist, while my parents smiled like they were at a show. "Barry," Dad said later, mouth full of cheese ball. "You're quiet. You mad?" Mom laughed. "Don't be sensitive. Jess is just making memories." "Yeah," Jess said, tearing more paper golden ones. I didn't explode. I stood up, told Mia I'm grabbing something from the car, and walked out. The cold slapped my face. I opened the trunk and pulled out the red binder I keep for insurance, taxes, all the boring stuff. That makes life work. Inside copies, mortgage drafts, bank statements, the spreadsheet Mia calls Barry's brain, where every transfer, every gift, every top-up is dated and logged. The folder for Christmas 2025 with the receipts I printed, because I know my family. Big talk until numbers show up. I came back in. I set the binder on the coffee table. I didn't raise my voice. Pause. I said, "Everyone pause. No more opening." Jess frowned. "Excuse me." Mom sighed. "Barry, don't make a scene." "Dad, son." I opened the binder. I slid out the first page. 8 months, I said. "That's how long Mia and I have been covering your mortgage gap. It's $1,100 a month. Total so far, $8,800. Mom flushed. Dad looked at the TV like sports might save him. I pulled the next sheet. Dental implants, $3,950. Paid in full. Receipt with my card last spring. We told you it was a blessing, so you wouldn't feel weird. Mom's eyes filled, but not the right way. Not sorry. Cornered. I turned to Jess. 2 years ago, you asked me to co-sign for your car. I did it. Last summer, you missed 2 payments. It hit my credit. I covered them so you wouldn't default. $1,076 here. I tapped the line on the statement. Jess crossed her arms. Why are you throwing this in my face now? I held up a hand. I'm not. I'm giving context. Because you just told my kids Santa doesn't bring real gifts to them. Then you opened the 2 most expensive things I bought with my name on the receipts in front of them and called your kids golden. You did that? She rolled her eyes. It was a joke. Liam whispered. No, it wasn't. Emma nodded. Small and fierce. I set a neat stack of receipts on the table. Laptop purchased by me. Smartwatch purchased by me. They were labeled for the cousins as a group. We weren't doing Santa versus parents. We were doing family. You decided otherwise. Dad huffed. So what? You can afford it. I looked at him. That's not the point. Mom waved a dismissive hand. Barry, you're turning a holiday into an audit. Okay, I said gently. Audit it is. I slid out the last page. The one that made everyone suck in air when they saw the total. All in support to this household this year. $18,756. That's on top of today's gifts. That's not counting the nights I drove over to fix the water heater and the 6 a.m. airport runs, and the time I took off to sit with you, Dad, at cardiology. Silence. TV light flickered on faces that suddenly looked older. Jess tried to laugh. What do you want, Barry? A trophy? No, I set a boundary. I turned to my kids. Liam, Em, come here. They came to my side. Mia stood behind them, hand on Emma's shoulder. I looked at Jess. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to repack the gifts we brought for your kids and our kids. They'll open them together later at our place, where nobody gets called golden and nobody gets downgraded to too sensitive. Mom sputtered. You can't take Christmas from us. You took it from my kids when you made it a ranking. Dad leaned forward, eyes hard. You think you can just? Yes, I said. Calm. I can. I nodded to Mia. She started gathering boxes. Liam picked up the laptop gently and put it back in the bag. Jess reached to grab it. I stepped between. Stop, I said. Do not put your hands on my son or his gifts again. Jess's mouth curled. You're ungrateful. After everything we've done for you, Mia laughed once. Loud. Name one thing, she said. Well, wait. Jess opened and closed her mouth like a fish. Mom tried a new tactic. Tears. Family is family, she whispered. Exactly, I said. So we don't hurt kids to make a point. I zipped the last bag. I slid one more paper across the table. This is a new point. Starting January 1st, we are no longer your bank. If you need help, you ask. If we say no, that's a full answer. If anyone calls our kids names again, we're done for a while. Not a threat, just a boundary with dates. Dad stood half out of his chair. You can't talk to me like I'm not talking to you like anything, I said. I'm telling you what we're doing, Jess muttered. Drama king. Fire captain, I said evenly. I know how to end a dangerous situation. We left. It wasn't dramatic. No slamming, no shouting in the driveway. I loaded the bags. For a second, I stood with my hands on the trunk like I do after a hard call, just breathing. The cold smelled like snow. Inside, muffled voices rose and fell, but I let the house have its noise without me. Mia buckled Emma in. You okay? She asked her. Emma nodded. Auntie is mean. She was, Mia said softly. We're not. Liam looked out the window. Dad, yeah, bud. Are we in trouble? I swallowed. No, we told the truth. Sometimes the truth is loud. Back home, we made cocoa. We put all the gifts in the hall. We invited my partner Torres and his wife and their girls over because they were nearby and kind. Within an hour, there were kids' socks and places socks don't belong and ripped paper under the couch and laughter in rooms that had held their breath all day. Emma opened the art desk and cried a tiny happy cry, the kind that makes me want to hand the world to her, and then set a guard around it. Liam opened the robotics kit and immediately started building a little arm that waved when you said his name. The cousins FaceTimed from my parents' house, whispering, we didn't know. Sorry, Mom's freaking out. Torres and I stepped onto the porch for air. He's been my friend long enough to read the night on my face. How bad? He asked. House fire started by a joke, I said. We pulled our kids out. He nodded like that made perfect sense. Proud of you. My phone buzzed. Mom, come back. We can talk. I didn't answer. Dad, be a man. Don't run. I put the phone face down. Jess, you're ridiculous. The kids are crying. You ruined Christmas. Mia sent one reply from both of us. Don't text like that. We'll talk after the holiday. We didn't go back that night. We didn't go back the next day either. I worked Christmas Eve, slept a little at the station between calls. Came home at dawn on the 25th to pancakes, and the smell of cinnamon and a crooked construction paper star taped to the front window, because Emma said, every house needs one. At 10 a.m., the doorbell rang. My parents just behind them, arms folded. I could have not answered, but I opened the door because I wanted my kids to see what boundaries look like with the lights on. Mom stepped in like she owned the place. Barry, this is childish. I held up a hand. Stop. House rules. Shoes off. Voices low. We talk like people. Jess scoffed. Kicked off her boots anyway. Liam and Emma hovered in the hallway. I crouched to them. Kitchen. Okay. Headphones if you want. They nodded and disappeared with their hot cocoa like little retirees. We sat at the table. Mia poured coffee for everyone and then leaned back into her chair like a person ready to sit in truth all day if needed. Dad started. You embarrassed us. You embarrassed my kids, I said. Priorities. Mom pressed her napkin to her eye. We didn't raise you to be cruel. You raised me to serve. I'm good at it. But service without respect is exploitation. We're done with that. Jess crossed her arms tighter. It was a joke. I met her eyes. Explained the joke to my 7-year-old. She looked away. She's too sensitive. No, I said she's 7. Dad leaned forward. Money has made you boundaried. Mia said, money didn't make us boundaried. Your behavior did. They threw everything at us. Guilt, nostalgia, family versus outsiders. The classics. I kept bringing it back to basics. I slid the receipts across the table again. I circled totals and quiet pen. This is help we gave, not a weapon, just facts. We gave because we love you. We will still love you if we give less. Just the stack like it was a trapdoor. So what? You're cutting us off. We're cutting off the assumption. I said ask. Sometimes we'll say yes. Sometimes no. Both are love. Mom tried the picture of a new future. Fine, but you can't take all the gifts back. The kids saw them. I smiled a little. The kids will see more gifts in their lives. What they needed to see this weekend was us protecting them. They saw Dad's jaw worked. You think you're better than us? I shook my head. I think I'm responsible for the 2 kids who call me Dad and the woman who married me. Everyone else is optional. Something in the room changed then. Not a miracle, a shift. Maybe it was the part where nobody yelled back because we never raised our voices. Maybe it was the part where for once I didn't try to fix their feelings for them. Jess stood first. Whatever. She grabbed her boots. Don't expect us at Easter. Mia shrugged. Then it'll be peaceful. Mom followed Jess, tears back in performance mode. Dad lingered. He looked at me, then at the binder, then passed me toward the kitchen where our kids were giggling over some YouTube video about slime. You really kept us afloat? He asked quieter than I expected. Yeah, I said. Because I could. Because I wanted to, not because you were owed. He nodded once tight. I'll figure it out. I hope you do, I said. Let me know if you want me to look at a budget with you. As a favor, not a duty. He swallowed. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Dad. They left. The house exhaled. Mia slid her hand into mine. You okay? I let myself feel it then. Anger, relief, grief, pride, all stacked on each other like the gear shelves at the station. Yeah, I said. I am. The next days were weird and new. Fewer texts, quieter phone, more time. We took the kids sledding. We built a fort. I taught Liam how to do a proper hose lay with the garden line because he asked, and because it's a good way to turn a 9-year-old into a focused one for 20 minutes. Emma painted at her new desk and taped little drawings of fire trucks to the side. She drew me with a big smile and the wrong color helmet. I didn't correct her. On the 28th, Mom texted, we should talk. I'm sorry you felt hurt. I didn't respond. On the 30th, she tried again without the you felt. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have laughed when Jess said what she said. That one got a thanks. No invitation. Not yet. Jess went nuclear on social media for a day. Vague posts about money changing people and setting boundaries against controlling relatives that made her friends comment hearts. I didn't engage. A boundary is a fence, not a podium. On New Year's Day, Dad called. I want to see the budget thing, he said, voice growly. Your mother is changing some things. Okay, I said. Come by this weekend. We'll make coffee. When he came, he was smaller, not in body, just in energy. He sat at our table and watched me walk him through a simple sheet. Income, fixed costs, variable, dead snowball. He nodded like each number was a new language he could learn if he stopped pretending he already spoke it. He didn't say the word sorry. He didn't have to. Not that day. Sometimes repair starts with the absence of contempt. The kids asked if Grandma and Grandpa would come to Emma's school art night in February. Maybe, I said, if they follow the rules. What rules? Emma asked. Be kind. Don't rank people. Don't make fun of feelings. Ask before taking. If someone messes up, they say sorry and change. Emma considered. Those are easy. I smiled. You'd think. 2 weeks later, I was at the station mid-shift when a call came through for a kitchen fire in a townhouse 3 miles from my parents. We rolled. It wasn't theirs, but standing on that porch, smelling the same accurate smoke that always smells like the first one I ever fought. I thought about fire behavior, how it needs heat, fuel, oxygen. You remove one side of the triangle, the fire dies. Family conflict is the same. For years, I fed it. Money as fuel, silence as oxygen, guilt as heat. This Christmas, I pulled one side out. The room changed. Jess hasn't apologized. Maybe she won't. That part stopped being my project the second I zipped that last bag. My kids don't flinch at the word sensitive anymore because they watch their dad say no and then not fold when it got awkward. That matters more than a perfect holiday. Mom sent a longer message last night. I'm embarrassed, she wrote. I shouldn't have laughed. I thought it was just Jess being Jess. I didn't think about the kids. I'm sorry. I want to do better. Can we come to Emma's art night if we promise to behave? I read it twice. I sent back, yes, we'll try again. Same rules as before. Dad texted me a photo of his new budget notebook with a joke about rookie lines. I told him it looked good. I meant it. Here's the moral, the one I want fixed in my kids' bones. I am not a bank. I am not a stagehand. I'm a dad and a husband and a man who runs into burning rooms for strangers. So I will absolutely walk out of a living room when my own family lights a match and calls it a joke. I won't pay admission to watch my kids get hurt. I won't budget for cruelty. I won't trade peace for performance. We still do Christmas. Smaller, quieter hours. Mia labels the bins. I label the receipts because I am who I am. Emma's star is still crooked on the window. Liam's robot still waves when you say his name. Family can earn their way back. That door is cracked open, but my boundaries aren't. Those are shut, latched, checked, and if someone tries to test them, I'll do what I did that night. Stand up, speak plain, protect the people I'm responsible for. Then go make hot cocoa and build a fort. Because that's what a captain does. Not just at work, at